In this WrestleTalk news, ROH announced their first show since December, teases of a huge AEW announcement, and is Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor? Subscribe and enable notifications to Always On for daily wrestling news videos. Because Tony Khan isn't the only one with a huge announcement. We here at WrestleTalk have a game-changing new thing to tell you about too. But you've got to press the subscribe button first, yeah? Yeah, you gotta press it, okay? You've pressed it? Yes? Good. Because, game-changing announcement is, I've re-signed Luke! I've re-signed Luke Owen to a multi-year deal. Yeah. He's Hall of Fame caliber. Too late, you've already subscribed.
Support WrestleTalk!
Tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite is the go-home show for this Sunday's Revolution pay-per-view. To hype the event, there's a trios match between Hangman Page and the Dark Order against the Undisputed Era, and the second Battle Royal to decide the final spot for the Tag Championship three-way. But the most intriguing draw for the show so far is the tease Tony Khan will make a huge announcement, with huge announcement there being in red. So you know it's extra big. This is a project Khan has reportedly been working on for quite some time, with him telling Dave Meltzer 2 weeks ago in an interview it was a big business deal, massive, big and important, and a little bit different than anything we've done before. Before you say, Jackson Riker to AEW confirmed. Yeah, that was my first thought too. Meltzer then clarified the huge announcement was not a new talent signing. So what could it be? There are several speculated possibilities. AEW launching their own streaming service, AEW announcing their first UK dates, or even AEW finally doing a full New Japan crossover show. Only the last of those, for me, would satisfy all the hype so far. You don't want to Christian it again, Tony, but there is also one other possibility. The AEW have bought Ring of Honor. True to the promotion's name, ROH conducted themselves with more honor than any other major North American wrestling promotion during the pandemic, putting the safety of their performers above everything else and still paying talent even when shows were cancelled. Morals are expensive though, and the promotion announced it would go on hiatus from last December's Final Battle pay-per-view until April's SuperCard of Honor show. This would give them time to reimagine the way they do business, which reportedly would involve not having any wrestlers signed to contracts, only using talent on per-show deals, which was pointed out as a potential death knell in the current business climate, where talent is snapped up to lucrative long-term contracts by bigger promotions. But now, in an announcement from Ring of Honor themselves and a new report from Fightful Select, the promotion is definitely planning for some kind of future. In a Facebook live chat hosted by ROH commentator Ian Riccaboni yesterday, it was confirmed April's SuperCard of Honor 15 was indeed going ahead, with 2 matches announced as a debuting Isaiah Swerve Scott, now going by Swerve 3, the Realist, to take on Alex Zane. Jonathan Gresham will fight Bandido to determine the undisputed ROH World Champion. Gresham won the interim belt back at Final Battle when original champion Bandido had to pull out last minute because of COVID, and Gresham has toured various promotions since defending the title. Joe Hendry and Ninja Mac were also announced for the card, with their matches TBA, and Deonna Purrazzo and the Briscoes are scheduled to defend their women's and tag titles respectively. But by far the biggest talent signing is that WrestleTalk podcast's own Denise Salcedo will be the special host and backstage interviewer for the pay-per-view. Riccaboni also announced ROH will debut a new set at the promotion's TV tapings booked in from the 10th of April, which will reportedly include a new logo, signifying that this isn't just a one-off event, but that plans are in place for the company's continued existence. Which brings us on to the report from Fightful Select. Fightful notes ROH's planned tapings extend well past April, with tentative TV dates all the way up until the end of the year. They've kept some of the team employed throughout the hiatus to help get these plans in place and promote ROH during its downtime. This includes ROH reaching out to new faces as far back as January, but they'll only be working with the promotion on a freelance basis, which is apparently how the majority of talent will be dealt with going forward. As I've already pointed out though, that is a strategy that immediately collapses when an AEW or WWE decide to sign your world champion 2 months in. Unless, maybe, One of those companies already owns ROH. Fightful goes on to say that people from multiple wrestling companies have heard about overtures regarding a possible sale or partnership of Ring of Honor. Apparently, ROH has kind of been on the market for the past 2 years, as inquiries at the sale price back in 2020 put it at significant. More recently, there were way more bidders than expected from multiple wrestling companies for several media companies, like ROH's current owner, Sinclair Broadcasting. Professional wrestling right now is a very hot streaming property, so platforms could have been looking to buy their own brand rather than pay the expensive licenses for something like WWE. As far as what that significant price was, one negotiation back in early 2020 had discussions at a $40 million sale. Another one of Fightful's sources said the price was closer to $20 million, while an independently wealthy fan that wasn't in the wrestling business made an effort to purchase it more recently than that and was quoted $30 million for 50% of the company. I feel like I'm on Dragon's Den here. Shark Tank to the American viewers. Fightful made sure to clarify that none of these numbers or discussions had been confirmed by ROH, but they write that several wrestlers have heard a possible sale was still on the table. So, according to those reports, ROH has been in discussions to sell from anywhere between a $20 million to $60 million valuation over the last 2 years. This is supported by Sports Illustrated's report last October, following the hiatus announcement that ROH's tape library was available to the highest bidder, which Sinclair had been trying to privately sell for over a year. The only feasible suitors in the wrestling business, and arguably the wider business world too, as I don't think Netflix is interested in grainy indie show footage from 2009, are AEW and WWE. WWE would certainly be interested. They've reportedly tried to buy the ROH tape library in the past along with TNA's because a large portion of their roster came through Ring of Honor at one point, like Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. But really, the ROH tape library is far more valuable to AEW because ROH currently own the footage of AEW's first ever show. Yes, I know 2019's All In wasn't technically an AEW event. It was just a super indie card put on between ROH, New Japan, Impact, and the Bullet Club besties of Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks. What happened to you guys? But it is spiritually the birth of All Elite Wrestling, and not owning that footage will forever mean a huge part of their story is missing. Additionally, AEW's roster has become even more dominated by ROH circa 2005 to 2015, with CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Brody King, Christopher Daniels, Colt Cabana, Danhausen, Frankie Kazarian, Hangman Page, Jay Lethal, and the Young Bucks with their infamous ladder war match against the Hardy Boys. A piece of context that will become far more important very soon, with Jeff set to join Matt in AEW. With AEW's focus on long-term, multi-year, promotion-spanning stories, owning the rights to the footage where Adam Cole and Adam Page, the company's world title feud right now, would be hugely beneficial. Which is also why WWE might as well make a huge bid for it too. Not only do we have Cody Rhodes, we now own your debut show. Tony Khan has said in multiple interviews over the last year that a huge part of AEW's business strategy is building a great library of content. That's why they've got 100 or something shows on YouTube. That's why they have Rampage. As WWE has shown, streaming platforms are desperate for content, and they're willing to pay way over the odds for it. And AEW's passionate fanbase is the exact rabid 18 to 49 male demographic that a streaming service would love to buy. Because make no mistake about it, streaming platforms don't buy the content, they buy the content that the viewers appeal to. And this doesn't even factor in the value of owning ROH as intellectual property moving forward. I've said for 2 years now that AEW could buy ROH and run it as their own developmental touring system, rather than just relying on AEW Dark or NXT to release people all the time. And imagine the storytelling possibilities of an invasion of AEW by the current new generation ROH stars. They're all in the ring, ready to fight the AEW main eventers when CM Punk and Bryan Danielson step over to join Team ROH. Apologies that this episode has kind of turned into an opinion piece on why AEW should buy ROH rather tthan a usual news episode, but I'm excited, goddammit! I just don't get high off the individual talent signings anymore. My tolerance levels have been upped. I didn't feel a thing when Jay White appeared. I need more. I need entire promotions to AEW confirmed. What do you think Tony's big announcement will be tonight? And even if it isn't about ROH, do you think AEW should buy them anyway? Let me know in the comments down below. And in the meantime, let's all enjoy Cody Rhodes' 10 worst AEW moments. You're dead to me, Cody!
But over time, Cody Rhodes grew less bearable to a large amount of the AEW audience, whether it be because of a distaste for reality TV shows, or maybe they didn't like the Cody Solved Racism promo. Bottom line, people didn't like Cody no more. Thus, the last year of Cody and AEW produced a large number of dud segments.